Hey, what's up? My name's Samuel Leeds. On this video, you're going to be learning about rent-to-rents, buy, refurbish, refinance, and how to become financially free. I'm going to be picking the brains of mother and son duo that have become financially free through being creative in property, and you're going to learn exactly how they did it and how you can too. So if you enjoy my channel, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you've got questions about this interview, drop your comment and questions below. We'll do our best to answer. So firstly, Pretty and Carl, thank you so much for coming down to my house.
Great, yes, thanks for having me.
So you've been working super hard. Why don't you tell me about your backstory, how you guys decided to team up, and why you wanted to get into property in the first place?
Great stuff, Carl, do you want to go?
Yeah, so it was around when I was 16. I knew I wanted to get into property. I mean, my mum's always done it when she was younger, before she had me. And I've always kind of watched like Grand Designs, Homes on the Hand and stuff like that with her. We knew we wanted to get into it, we just didn't know how. We always thought it required a lot of money, which is when she discovered you, and we got it off from there then.
Nice. So your background then, property, what's your sort of backstory?
So I used to help a friend who was buying rental properties. She loved the way I'd done my houses, and particularly on a shoestring.
Yeah.
And she said, this is what I want you to do. I want you to do exactly what you've done in your house, do it on a shoestring in my rental properties. And she paid me to go shopping, to stage a house.
Right.
I absolutely loved it. And then I was pregnant with Kyle and I stopped doing all of that. I always thought getting into properties, you had to do it the conventional way, you had to save lots of money. And so like Kyle said, when he got to a certain age, he said, Mum, I want to do properties with you. And I said, well, Kyle, we need to have some money first. Get yourself a trade, because at least you can do some of the work yourself. So hence Kyle got into plumbing. He's just in the process of finishing his plumbing apprenticeship now. But I still thought, how can we do this without money? So I'd bought one single let, and I'd done it by refinancing my own residential property. So, I was thinking that was the only way. And then I guess it was just something that happened out of the blue. So I'd gone into the hospital for a very minor operation. And it was minor, it was supposed to be 30 minutes, and then I was leaving straight after. And the procedure went horribly wrong. And I ended up being taken in for emergency surgery, a 4-hour operation, major surgery. Apparently with this operation, there's 25% mortality rate, intensive care, and that was it. I was out of action for 3 months. I was at home for 3 months. And I got to thinking that, the children, I'm a single parent, and I know they're not babies, but what if something happened, And, about the financial side of things, neither of them were working full time. And I knew Carl always wanted to get into properties, so I thought, let me just start doing a bit of research. It was like the first time that I'd literally had some headspace, some time to sit and think about how I can do properties. So I was trawling through the internet, came across yourself, watched a couple of winners on a Wednesday, and I thought, I love this. And then underneath, you can go onto this crash course for £1. So I said to Kyle, we definitely have to do this.
No-brainer.
No-brainer.
Yeah.
Started telling my partner, he's like, I'll go. Told my daughter, her boyfriend, 5 of us. We all came, and it was at the time when you used to do 2-day crash courses. Yeah. We were absolutely buzzing. Both nights. After the event, we're like, wow, this is the best thing we've ever done. So all 5 of us signed up to the training.
I remember coming up to you guys and doing a picture and shooting a video and just saying, you guys are going to blow up in property. Watch this space, folks. These guys are going to do big things. And since then you've come on to become financially free, and you've secured no money down deals, and you've literally done everything step by step from the training, and it's worked beautifully. So why don't you tell me about, after joining the training, you registered onto the academy, which is incredible. What happened next? And this was just before lockdown, so it was really interesting times. We had to pause everybody's academy membership. Then we put everything online while we were waiting to come back to do live events. So it was a really weird time. Why don't you talk us through like how the training was, and maybe what your first deal was and what happened?
Yeah. Okay. So the first training course we went on, was rent to rent, because through lockdown, so we'd been to the crash course, and we thought that was the route, didn't we? Rent to rent.
Yeah.
And so we had the choice of which one we were going on, because lockdown happened in between, and then you opened up again for live events. And so we decided to go for Rent-to-Rent because we'd just been doing research through the lockdown. And then we went on to the training, didn't we?
Yeah. I think it was November 2020 we went, and it was then we signed on to the academy after.
Right.
But then everything got shut down, and we were in a situation like, how do we go about it and stuff like that. I mean, we were constantly logging into the webinar calls that you did every week. We were seeing everyone's success and how everyone was getting it, and we just couldn't at first. I think it took about 3 months, did it, to get our first one.
Yeah.
But involved, it was, like I say, it took a lot of hard work, and there were times where we felt down, like, are we ever going to do this? Is it right for us? But like I say, we just stayed persistent with it, and we've eventually got the first one, which was great. So.
And when you were working on getting that first one, you're studying full time in college, right? Trying to become a plumber.
Yeah.
You're working as, what was your job at the time? What were you doing?
Civil servant.
Right. And what were you doing exactly?
I manage services in the civil service, so I look after services in the buildings that civil servants work in.
How did you manage to juggle your time between studying, working full time as a civil servant, and then also trying to get a rent-to-rent?
Yeah, it was really difficult. We kind of started at sort of after 5 every day. We'd switch the laptops on, go through training ourselves, because it was online because of the lockdown as well. So we started doing the online training every night, probably an hour or two.
Yeah.
And then you'd started ringing agents, didn't you?
Well, at first, I remember before doing any of the training, I actually didn't really have a lot of confidence at all, to be honest with you. I had a lot of self-limiting beliefs and stuff like that. I didn't think it was right for me at first. It's the same when I did plumbing. I thought, is this for me or not? And that's how I felt about property at first. But obviously going to your event, being around like-minded people, it really helped, and it built my confidence up as well. So I did an event as well called Tell the World, which you know about as well, which definitely helped build my confidence up on a personal level as well. But I remember just attempting to ring agents, and it lasted around 10 seconds before putting the phone down, and I just thought, is this really for me? But in the end, I just stayed consistent with it, and here we are now.
Now, when you got your first rent-to-rent, we will get to the good later, I promise, but it was a disaster because, well, tell me what happened.
Yeah, it was, we'd spent so long doing it up. So the first thing to say was we did negotiate a rent-free period, a grace period. The house was so run down, and so we realised this afterwards, but we negotiated the rent-free period. But instead of just renting out rooms individually, we waited until they were all done up. That was the first thing.
That was the first mistake?
First mistake, because...
And where was it?
Leicester.
Right.
So what we did was we carried on past the rent-free period, still doing the other rooms up, meaning that we ended up paying another month's rent without anyone in the house. Right. So that was the first mistake, wasn't it, Kyle?
There was a lot of mistakes. I think because it was a lot of work involved as well, we identified that really we should have possibly got other tradesmen in, like painters, for example, as that took a majority of the time. We ended up running past the 6-week grace period, just solely from painting and decorating, as it needed a lot of work. But I think what we did do, and like what you say as well in training, is utilise your network. We got our family and friends around to come and help every day, which was like I say, it was good of them. We got it done quicker than just the two of us. But yeah, in the end, we ran past.
Now, I always say on the academy, there's only 2 reasons why you can fail. One reason is because you don't take any action, and the second reason is because when you get stuck, you don't ask for help. Yeah. You guys did ask for help on the mastermind. Yes. Tell us what happened.
So basically, after we'd done all that hard work, and then we were ready to get it tenanted, I mean, the house looked beautiful, and yet we'd have people round, show them all 7 rooms, and they'd be like, oh, when they saw the first room, oh wow, that's amazing, second room, amazing. Going up three-storey house, and then they'd say, right, okay, and I remember from your training that you said that you should always secure it at the point that they come to view the property. So this is what I'd said to them before they come. Can you bring a deposit with you, a holding fee, we'll carry out some checks, bring some ID. For some reason, they all said, Well, at the moment, can I just think about it? I want to just go. And we didn't know what to do, so they'd just go. And then there was you have your Monday mastermind calls, which we absolutely love, because the times when we're feeling really low and we think, oh, we're going to do this, we get on the call and everyone is winning, or, we're sharing problems and you're helping us out. So I just piped up and I said, Samuel, I'm having a real problem. I said, I'm not sleeping. And I really wasn't sleeping. We'd already paid 1 month's rent out of our own pockets, and it wasn't tenanted. And I thought, the rent's $2,200 a month. I can't keep doing this. Where am I going to get the money from? So I just shouted up on the mastermind call, and you said to me, what can I do to help? And I really appreciated that. And I said, I'd love it if you would just come and just tell me what I'm doing wrong. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And it was great, because not only did you come, the people on the network as well were all offering me advice, texting me, send me photographs, tell me what you've put in your advert. And like you always say, your network is your net worth, and it's so true. But the more that we are in this network, the more we're learning, the more support we're getting, and the more we're being motivated.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
amazing. But yeah, you came round and you gave us some great advice. Just schoolboy errors that we were making, weren't we, Kyle? So.
And it was great coming down and seeing it as well. But when I came down as well, we actually got a tenant there and then, didn't we?
We did.
To move in, and we did a whole separate video about how to fill your rooms fast. So you stop showing everybody all the rooms, show them one at a time, block viewings, refresh the ads. There was a whole bunch of stuff that we implemented. So how's that property now? I know you've got lots of other properties since then. That first one, you're paying $2,200 to the landlord. Obviously, it's been a year or so now. What happened next? How's that property still doing today?
Yeah, it's fully occupied now. We're making 1,200 clean profit a month.
Incredible.
Yeah, so like I say, we don't struggle at all. Obviously,
Yeah.
since you coming round and helping us, it's been easy to get tenants in. We obviously use different kind of platforms.
Yeah.
Spare Room, the obvious, Facebook Marketplace, Gumtree, loads of different ways to get them in. Open Rent. So we still make sure the advert's still live now, because in case we have other opportunities, I can then show them our other rent-to-rents that we've got, which is what I recommend for anyone.
Brilliant. So that one property now, £1,200 a month of profit. You had a grace-free period. You did put some elbow grease and paint into doing it up, but that's like halfway there towards replacing a full-time income. And I know since then you've gone on to get more rent-to-rents, and you're also working on BRRs. How are the other deals going? What's happening at the moment?
Yeah, it's crazy. So we've got a couple more rent-to-rents and more in the pipeline. And one of the things that you talk about in your training is a lot about mindset, and something that's really kind of like helped us to sort of just get off the ground really quickly all of a sudden is just changing the way we think about things. And one of the things you talk about in your training is your financial thermostat.
Yes.
And we've both been listening to this book, Bob Proctor's book, Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life.
Yeah, great.
And he talks a lot about the same thing that you talk about in your training, the financial thermostat, where people think that even when, so maybe they're in a job and they're earning a lot of money, and then they become an entrepreneur, they still stop at the same salary that they were on in the job, because they've not changed the financial thermostat. And you talk about that when you do the financial freedom intensive. We talk about where we want to be. I love that training so much, because it just changes the way you think about things. And that's really helped us change our mindset. So one of the things that we've been doing is literally just going in to estate agents. At one time, I used to think estate agents were my enemy. They're not. If you can build good rapport with an estate agent, they are feeding you deals. And that's all of a sudden, we're getting phone calls. They're saying, I've got another one. Do you want to take this off us? Do you want to take this off us?
They approach us, don't they, now? It's like I say, they've got to know, like, and trust you.
Yeah.
And it's more easier for them to do that if they can see you face to face. They're more inclined to say yes to your face than no over the phone, which is why we think that is.
And also, your first deal's always your hardest. So that first deal for you learned from that. I mean, tell me about your second deal. Where was your second rent? Was it in the Leicester as well?
Yeah, so it's actually 2 minutes away from the first one.
Right.
That's a 6-bedroom, 2-bathroom. That's bringing in 1,000 a month.
Profit?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm kind of overseeing that one. My mum's doing the first one.
How does it feel, though, to be in a situation whereby you're studying at the moment to learn to be a plumber,
Yeah.
but actually, I don't know whether you'll be a plumber or not.
No, it's hard. I'm still trying to balance it. Like structure and organisation is something I'm working on at the minute.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm still stuck in that rat race 9 to 5 kind of job. But I'm trying to make sure and commit a bit more to property because I know I want to go into that full time.
Yeah.
So I'm just making sure.
But you don't need to have. Presumably, you don't need to have a job.
No. And that's the beauty of it.
So, what do you reckon the next year looks like for you? Because when you finish your college,
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
I'm going to go full time in property. I think that's the way forward. I've always wanted to do that anyway.
Yeah.
I've just thought it's good to have that background knowledge of the plumbing side. I've built a network of tradesmen. My friends are all builders. You know, I'm well connected in that side. And I think what works well with me and my mum is that I know the hands-on side of it. And she's got the business side of it. So 2 heads are better than one.
Right.
And that's what I say to
Tell me about your BRR deal that you're buying as well.
So, like you say, utilise your network. I actually used to work in an estate agents when I was 16. I was doing it like every 2 weeks, just like answering calls, just getting to know the market and stuff like that. And the agent who's actually passed this deal, he actually lives on my street. We've known him for 15 years now. And you say, tell everyone what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what I did. And he gave me this. It's a probate property off market. I've managed to get it 45k below market value.
What's the purchase price?
480.
So you're buying it for 480. How on earth are you getting the money to buy that?
Well, that's a good question. So, yeah, me and my partner are part funding it. But then something else happened. And this is what's been happening in our life. It's been crazy. But I was invited onto the show Property Elevator. And so it's a Dragon's Den style show with property investors that are potentially prepared to fund your deals. So I had to go onto this show. I got some help from your mentors because as being an academy member, we've got access to mentors. So Tony Crook spent a whole hour with me going through the pitch, what to talk about, and it was amazing because I felt so prepared. I was so nervous at first. Went in, 5 investors there, and they grill you. They really do grill you. But I was able to talk about this deal with the help that I'd had from Tony, and every question they fired at me, I had an answer for. Yeah. And they actually commented on that. They said, "Oh, well, you know, you did a really good pitch." So they were really impressed with that. And they also said that even though you know, some of them weren't investing in that deal, that they really like me and they would like to work with me in the future.
Wow.
So I thought that was amazing. But I managed to secure 2 investors. And so they both agreed that they would go 50-50.
Superstar.
So
Brilliant.
yeah, that's
Great.
amazing.
That's incredible. So basically, you've managed to pitch the deal and get some exposure on a show. You put in a little bit of your own money. And you're buying it for 480. So what are the figures? What's the refurb cost?
So it's 130, but we're going to do 20k added just for legals and everything like that.
Yeah.
So total money in is 630.
Yeah.
So currently it's in an Article 4 area, but obviously having the help of your mum, she guided me on turning it into self-contained flats.
Yeah.
So we're looking to be able to pull all of our money out by the end of the deal.
What do you think the end value will be?
Around 840.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah. You must be so proud as well of Kyle because, you know, and you've obviously helped him a lot, but he's also put a lot of work in himself. And you guys have been like a duo power team working mother and son team. But you must be super proud of him, the fact that now he never will have to work a normal job because of he's set up for life.
Absolutely. And it's all I ever wanted. You know, I knew, I was going to say the error of my ways, but, you know, I didn't know what I know now. And I'm so glad that he knows now from a young age. I wish I knew when I was that age, but I know now. And that is the path that I wanted him to take. My daughter's doing something similar as well. And that's exactly what I wanted for my children, to be entrepreneurs, to not have the 9 to 5, be in the rat race. And I am super proud. And The BRR, Kyle has done all the research himself. You know, he's used your mentorship. He managed to speak to your mum, who gives some really good advice, because we were stuck at one point because this house has not got, it's not got a HMO license. There was a 92-year-old lady that lived in this huge 7-bedroom house all on her own. But it's Article 4, it's a conservation area. We were thinking, how do we get over this? What do we do? And then through Carl speaking to Sue, she advised him on self-contained flats, which we hadn't even thought about. You know, title splitting, self-contained. And actually, it's worth more. It's worth more doing it that way.
Do you know what as well is really interesting? No one that's successful in business has done it alone. And everybody is where they are because of other people that have helped them along the way. So I've been helped by my mum, and I've been helped by my mentors. You've been helped by the academy and by Tony and my mum and me and the elevator pitch guys that are running. Like, it's just about investing in yourself, and then other people will then invest in you. If you hadn't invested in yourself, probably the elevator boys wouldn't have invested in your deal because you wouldn't have known what you're talking about. When you invest in yourself and step out, if you hadn't have invested in yourself, Kyle, and then your mum probably wouldn't have helped fund part of your deal. So it's about bet on yourself, and then others will bet on you, and ask for help. Yeah,
it's so true. And it's funny because before we arrived this morning, we said exactly the same. Like, at one time, if I, you know, saw anything like a training program, I thought, well, I'm not paying for that. Well, you know, I need to put that money to some use somewhere. I can't spend that money on myself. I almost didn't value myself enough. And it's really strange because, you know, when I speak to friends that aren't doing something similar, you know, they say, what? You spent that money on training? And then I go on to say, well, you spent 40,000 on your university education. Where are you?
Right.
You know, and this is a fraction. And look at where I am. Look at what we're doing. And this is just the start.
So if you want people to invest in you, you first got to invest in yourself. You've got to add more value to yourself. That's the way of business. So.
Right. Was it hard? Was it a hard decision though, like joining the academy? Or?
For me personally, at first it was obviously. I saved from my apprenticeship. I didn't really get a lot of money from apprenticeship, and I was putting money aside. And initially, it was going to be for a help to buy. I didn't know anything. We were going to put it all to help to buy. And then when we got offered the academy, I was like, it's quite a bit of money. But obviously, my thermostat was a lot lower then. But then, think of it now. I'm so glad I've done it, because look where I am now. I'm a completely different person. So
you make it back triple, quadruple and more, but it's like, if you don't know, you'll just never know, and you'll carry on doing the conventional way. And it's funny now because I look at people that are sort of trying to do things and doing them the conventional way, and I just think you don't realize what's out there. You know, once you've got the education, there's so much to be gained. It's mind-blowing. It's like once you know, you can't unknow.
It's been so good working with you guys, and I know you've had a lot of input, not just from me, but also from the whole team, Alistair, Tony, Sue, everybody. And that's what it's about. This is a community, and also you're not just investing in education, you're also investing in not just what you know, but also who you know. It's the power of network. And like you said, when you reached out to me on the mastermind, yes, I came to your house and helped you out, but you had dozens of people. And the great thing is now on the academy, when people are struggling to rent the rooms out and they're stuck, like for instance, Karina was struggling.
She was.
You then reached out and helped her.
And
it's such a joy to be able to, when you reach the top, I know you're not at the top per se, but as you rise, to pull other people up with you. It's such a beautiful thing, and it's been an honour to be able to mentor you. What would be your advice to someone watching this that's thinking, I want to follow in the footsteps and do the same?
I mean, I would say 100% always invest in yourself. Value yourself, invest in yourself. There's so much more to be gained. You don't even realise the world is your oyster. Just spend some money on yourself, some time on yourself, and be kind to yourself. So important. And the other thing is, I always say, give value first, serve first, and success follows.
Yeah, love that. Love that. What about you, Kyle? If you were giving advice to someone that was just starting out in property, how old are you?
23 now.
23.
Yeah.
So if someone maybe who's in a similar situation to you, or if you were advising yourself from 2 years ago, what would you say?
Just stick to it, like work on yourself. Your mindset's the key. If you put anything, you can put anything to it if you believe it. Stay consistent, stay persistent, don't be hard. Everyone's on their own journey. Some people are harder than others, but as long as you stay consistent with everything, you're gonna get there. You just got to believe in yourself.
That's so true. And I've seen your journey as well has been really great to see, your confidence. And I just want to say as well, thank you to you both, because not only have you come to the academy and learned and took, but you've given so much more than you've taken. You've crewed at events, you've helped so many people, and you're just such a joy to have worked with. So I really appreciate you, and thanks for coming down to my house to share.
Thank you. Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much for having us. It's been amazing.
Awesome. So guys, I hope you found that educational and inspirational. Kyle and Pretty smashing it in property. If you want to come and connect with us and come down to the Property Investors Crash Course like they did, then guess what? You can come down for free, limited availability, but I will leave a link in the description where you can come and meet me and be trained at the Property Investors Crash Course. If you want to see more videos like this, where I'm interviewing people that are financially free in property, there's a whole playlist right here. If you want to see Pretty and Kyle's Leicester HMO and you want to see how they filled it fast, then there's a video right here of the three of us. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.